Kyrie Irving is unvaccinated and refuses to take the vaccine. This makes everything complicated for the Brooklyn Nets because he can only play home games for the Brooklyn Nets. This is terrible for the Brooklyn Nets. That means Kyrie Irving will only play 41 games for the regular season, including the playoffs. So, as you can see, Kyrie Irving is definitely a vital part for the Brooklyn Nets. But have we ever thought of trading him? I mean, the Brooklyn Nets, are a great team. And Kyrie Irving, he's a good player, but right now he's not taking his vaccine, which could cost the Brooklyn Nets a championship. So why not trade him? Even though his trade value is low, I mean, you can't change Kyrie Irving's mind, and there's always going to be drama going on if Kyrie Irving's on your team. So, because of this, his trade value might just be too low. So, the Brooklyn Nets have to find a trade fast that can actually benefit them in a good way and still make them a great team over the Lakers. So, there are many trade ideas for Kyrie Irving getting traded by the Brooklyn Nets. So, the first idea that many people have been thinking about is Kyrie Irving getting traded for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, he's a good defender. He can pass the ball at a pretty high level. But for me, I think, it wouldn't be terrible for Ben Simmons to go on the Brooklyn Nets. But since Kevin Durant doesn't want that, I don't think that Ben Simmons will get traded to the Brooklyn Nets. And I think, honestly, the Brooklyn Nets could probably find something better for someone like Kyrie Irving. Another thing I found is Malcolm Brogdon for Kyrie Irving straight up. So Malcolm Brogdon, he's a pretty good player. He had one 50-40-90 season, and he's not that bad of a defender. I think Malcolm Brogdon isn't a terrible fit for the Brooklyn Nets, but will it beat the LA Lakers? I don't know. The LA Lakers have to figure it out. We also have to keep that in mind. This is their first season, so maybe Malcolm Brogdon to the Brooklyn Nets may not be that bad. He could average something like 18 points per game, get a couple of assists, He passes the ball pretty well. So, Malcolm Brogdon could be a pretty good trade piece for the Brooklyn Nets, a guy that the Brooklyn Nets could get. But I think the best thing Brooklyn can do is calling up the Houston Rockets and trading for John Wall. Ben Simmons is not happening. It isn't a terrible idea, but that won't happen. So now that Kyrie Irving is going to get traded, John Wall isn't a terrible option. Averaged 20 points per game this season, and he's not going to be in a big role for the Brooklyn Nets. He's not even going to be the first option, not the second. He's going to be the third option. He can play pretty good defense. And for the Rockets, Kyrie Irving could be another trade piece. He'll probably not play a single game for that team and probably get immediately traded to a contender. So, John Wall, he's a pretty good player, He's averaging 20 points per game. He's going to average 7 assists. He's going to be great for the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, the only problem is that he can't shoot the 3-ball, but he even says that he's the greatest shot blocker point guard of all time. Now, I don't really know about that. I don't think I really agree with that. I don't think that it's true. I think Gary Payton, the glove, is a better shot blocker. But John Wall, he plays better defense than Kyrie Irving, and he can score at a pretty good level. The Brooklyn Nets already have great shooters. They have Patty Mills. They have LaMarcus Aldridge. They have all those guys. They even have Blake Griffin. And they've got a lot of great players. They've got a lot of great players coming off the bench. And honestly, they're a team that could compete with the LA Lakers Because the Lakers, yes, they got a lot of pieces in the offseason. Yes, they got a lot of great players, bench players, and Russell Westbrook. But I don't think that it's going to be as good as the Brooklyn Nets, because the Nets also have a great bench. And with John Wall on the Brooklyn Nets, that wouldn't be terrible for the Brooklyn Nets. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'm out.